Ajahn, yesterday you've been talking about the meaning in the Vietnamese discussion, and because when there is understanding, it can be the understanding of the meaning, but it's the understanding of the word. It's not the understanding of the reality of the present moment. It's more pariyatti. Is pariyatti the meaning of the word, and which helps to understand the reality which the meaning refers to, the reality, what is there now.
That's why we have to understand from the very beginning, even the word pariyatti. What about? About the truth of this very moment. That is pariyatti. Not the word pariyatti, but what is there now and what is the truth of it. Can it be known because it's now, it's so real. But what is the truth of what is there? Just one reality at a time. Excuse me. There is seeing right now, but there is not just seeing this, that which is seen. And in a day, the interest is on that which is seen. And no idea about that which sees it at all. From birth to death, it arises and falls away and experiences different objects, only one at a time, so very rapidly. It cannot be known how fast it is, because even right now, there is seeing, but not just seeing. But there is seeing to be known as it is seeing, not hearing. And if it's not known, why do we talk about it? Useless. Just talk about it. But it cannot be known. But since it can be directly experienced, the truth of it, as no one and nothing.
So even pariyatti, it's more than just the meaning. The meaning is it's the beginning of the
understanding the truth of what is there now as it is. So real now, but what is the truth of it? If there's no understanding of it, it's not pariyatti at all.
One can know all the words and all the meanings and all the terms in the Tipitaka, but no pariyatti at all if there's no understanding of what appears now, if there's no understanding of what is seen now, however many words and terms, and no matter how much language is used, how many Pali definitions one has read, no pariyatti at all, unless it's the understanding at this moment. So it has to be the right understanding from the very beginning. Like those who developed Vipassana jnanas in the Buddha's time, they didn't know the words of the different stages of insight and the terms and details, but there was the clear understanding of reality appearing.
It seems like from what Ajahn is saying that there cannot be pariyatti without patipatti, which they go to. It seems like one need the other.
Is it possible to have some understanding of the way things are, which is not direct understanding of a reality? For example, if one is able to say from one's own experience that what is experienced through, say, the eye door is a different reality, or quite different from what is experienced through the ear door. So not just by a conceptual appreciation that would be so, but actually to confirm that by one's experience. I'm just plucking something out of the air here, but that could meet the description of an understanding about the way things are that is not yet the direct understanding of a reality.
So Pali is not the teachings, it's only a language. So the meaning, the word, the understanding of the word can be in any language. That is pariyati. The understanding of the truth, no matter in what language. But since Buddha taught in Pali, it's so very useful to understand more about different aspects and terms and grammars, the real truth of each word. For example, Sankhara Dhamma and Sankhata Dhamma, 2 words. Sankhara Dhamma and Sankhata Dhamma.
Yeah.
It can be translated, but what about the understanding of the truth, the difference between these two? And when there's no understanding of Pali, one might mistake it by one's thought about just the meaning of one word. But anyone who has no understanding of reality, what about Sankhata Dhamma and Sankhara Dhamma? Sounds the same.
Yeah, I thought they were the same, but they're not.
Not at all.
Seeing now and now gone, past already. Yeah, Sankata Dhamma already past.
Sankhara Dhamma means whatever arises must have conditions for its arising. Sankhara, condition one another, each other. But Sankhata is that which has been conditioned, arising.
The one that is here now. The one that...
Is that right? Sankhata, it has condition arising.
And already.
Mm-hmm.
It's like more specific, more to the
About the moment.
The moment.
Mm-hmm.
Conditioned and then gone instantly.
When there's no understanding of reality, what's conditioned and what's gone, no idea at all. Even there are 2 words, but they are there as the quality of what is there in different aspects. If there's no condition, sankhara, it cannot arise. But when it is already condition, it's there arising right now, sankhata.
On the point about the pariyati and the patipati, like now, sound is heard. It's just that reality. The understanding can be very firm indeed that it is just sound that appears, but it's not the direct understanding of sound when it's just the wise considering about what it is that is heard at this moment. So it is pariyati understanding, but nothing to do with the word. It is the reality that is heard, that is understood. So pariyati doesn't mean terms and words and meanings. It means the understanding of what appears now. deeper and deeper, firm and firmer to condition the patipati.
It's difficult to analyze moment by moment the flowing of chitta, because there's so many. Even while we are talking now, it's impossible to single out the moment with understanding from the moment of intellectual understanding.
That's why it has to begin what we are talking about. Otherwise, we're talking about what? But now we're talking about what is there now, to understand the truth of it, whether it's true or not. For example, seeing. It's there, unknown, as it's not self or anyone at all. But what is the absolute truth of the moment of seeing, or the seeing itself? And this is pariyati, because it's not directly beginning to develop the understanding of the nature, the characteristic of that which is now appearing. It experiences its characteristic by way of seeing. What is there? It's seen. And no one have heard about the truth of that which experiences an object. I see, I hear, I think all the time. I do. But what is the truth of that which arises from moment of birth all through the lifetime? Different ones all the time by conditions, never to return. After death, no I at all, no personality as we take for it's me, it's this and that, all gone. And that is true even right now. Kanika morana, that which arises, falls away, never to return. Can it be directly known? See? And how and what and when? See? And what? Different ones.
The nimitta,
That's why we learn about what is there as that which experiences an object one by one. For example, that which is the chief of experiencing what is there so clearly is that which cannot be changed. Whenever it arises, it's performed the function of just experiencing the object clearly. And that is citta. It has its proper characteristic. It cannot like, it cannot remember. It just arises now to experience the object clearly. So what about other reality? Different ones learn to understand what is there now in order to let go the idea of thing or person, personality, or anyone at all now. Seeing is gone. Who? No one. What is seen, can it be something permanent? Without shape and form, can it be known, remembered as something permanent? Like, I have the body now sitting, but in truth, only a moment. When it's so true, nothing is there. Only that which is there in a moment. So in a moment, it cannot be a box, a table. And there can be the understanding of that, but not by ignorance or just thinking about it. But what is there? Condition, moment of understanding, little by little, clearly and clearly, to know exactly what level of understanding is there. Right now. So true.
Pariyati has nothing to do with singling out different realities or trying to understand one by one, because that would all be the work of lobha and self, not pariyati at all. So there's no thought of trying to single out or trying to understand different realities at all. It has to develop naturally, as we always say, not anyone trying to work it out.
And Loba must be there for sure. It's not, the problem is that it's not known. That's the real problem. Not just the problem is that it's not known as it is. So it's something. It's, even Loba, it's something. It's me, my attachment. I have to get what I cling to.
But for working out the details or trying to find the different realities, it's taken for pariyatti, but it isn't. The clinging is one thing, the understanding is another.
But the development of the path is not about not having loba arise, is it? It's about understanding any reality that appears. And I think we keep forgetting that there's always something appearing to be known. And loba as such is not a hindrance to the awareness of if visible object, or for example, even if there's strong attachment to the visible object. It all depends on what is appearing and can be the object of awareness and understanding. And I think that there's quite a deep rooted kind of idea that the development of the path is about having less loba, or seeing the subtle loba that's appearing, because that's a very subtle idea of selecting an object, either because we think it is to be known or because we think it needs to be stopped somehow from arising. If we just forget about that and just remember that it's anything that appears can be the object of awareness and understanding. It doesn't matter how much loba or how much confusion there is.
I'll just say hello to those at home. Hello, Nina and Carmen and anyone. Yes.
Hello, good morning or good afternoon.
Afternoon, Carmen.
Yeah.
Nina, would you like to add anything or bring up anything of your own?
Yes. About the perfections, about the perfection of patience, we can have lots of misunderstandings when we just think about situations instead of momentary realities. I find that it's for all of the perfections, like patience, we think is, in the conventional sense, not grumbling when there is a difficult situation or retorting someone who says something unpleasant. That is not the reality of patience. We think immediately of persons and self who is patient. But it is, as we are here reminded all the time, it is a momentary reality. Not my patience, because it's gone already. Like it says in the teachings, we have to develop understanding without interruption. That doesn't mean, like now again, that it's impossible to be aware constantly. But it means in one life, there can be a moment of right understanding, and in the next life again. And that is the meaning of no interruption. And it can always, like Sarah says, it comes back to this moment and not I doing anything. So it is a completely different outlook on all of the perfections. If we understand, for instance, Virya Cetasika, that it is a Cetasika which arises with the Citta only for a moment, that can be patience, not the situation.
Is it is it part of me now?
We listen and we consider, but it's still self, an idea of self, who is
Yes,
considering.
yes,
Then it's not the parami.
yes. But what is the first parami? So many
Understanding.
paramis.
Understanding.
Understanding what? See, all
This,
are paramis.
yeah, this moment now,
Understanding the truth of what is there. Is it parami? To understand what is real and what is true, and it can be known by
yes,
understanding stage by stage only, because nobody can change the truth of what is there as it is now, arising and falling away, because now there is seeing and hearing and thinking. They cannot arise together. So parami is the moment of understanding the truth of each one as is real, but they are not the same moment at all. That's why learning to understand one by one, not at will, but by conditions, no selection, as we don't know what next moment will be. So how can there be selection for anything in the future to be object of understanding? But if there's no understanding now about the truth of what is there, we think about other way to experience this and that and try so hard to gain it. But in truth, it's no understanding of what is there from the very beginning. So it is parami or not to understand what is so true that it can be known. And without understanding the truth of this moment, what is the use? Can it be understanding of anything? Because now it's there so real, so true, but no understanding yet about its truth. That's why Satya Barami has to be very firm from the very beginning. Without Satya Barami, can other Barami develop? Viriya, to understand it truly, sincerely, truthfully, that if it's not understanding what is there now, there is nothing to be known. Firm enough confidence, Adidana Barami, to let go ignorance and attachment to all five khandhas, whatever is now appearing is object of attachment by conditions as something or I. The world of nimitta, the world of concept, the dream world of that which is now gone. If there is no such firm understanding of the truth, it's not parami. It's the viriya now. Listen again and again. Consider what is true, what is not true. Beginning to understand the truth, and that is right understanding. Otherwise, no right understanding of anything, just doing something to get something. What is it? Ignorance and attachment. No understanding at all. Can that be parami? So parami is to understand the truth. The moment of developing understanding firmly about now. Can it be known? If it's not known, what can be known? To let go ignorance and attachment to this moment Is there no ignorance of seeing now? Is there attachment to seeing right now? See, and how can there be in the moment of letting go? Ignorance is not understanding, seeing as it is right now. So real, it sees, but what about the understanding of the truth that is not there anymore? So just live in the world of thinking, dreaming about what is there, and take it for something. In truth, it is only a reality. It has its own characteristic. Is that true? Can seeing like anything? Can it be permanent? Can it understand anything? So what is seeing? To be known directly.
So you stress seeing all the time, and it's very good because there are so many moments of seeing and unknown, not known at all. Even while we are talking now and trying to understand terms, but it's not a meaning, it's not a matter of understanding terms, but all the moments of seeing now pass unnoticed.
So when we talk about seeing, and the seeing, it's only the nimitta of seeing, many moments of seeing. See, begin to understand how deep ignorance is there, accumulated, not to understand anything which appears now at all. And that is the meaning of the Buddha, enlighten the truth. Not just begin to think about it, that it's not hearing, it's not there anymore, only once in samsara, the circle of birth and death, never to arise again. Just develop the understanding of the truth, that's all.
And develop the understanding is different from try to understand, because try to understand is I again, who would like to understand seeing now or hearing now, different from just letting understanding develop naturally.
Is this now parami?
Only when there is understanding.
But viriya, to understand, listening, considering, to have firm confidence of the truth, never change at all. That if there's no understanding of what is there now, it's impossible to understand anything at all. Because this moment is so true, seeing is there, and who knows its nature.
Like you say, Satya Parami is so important. The understanding truth of the truth, Satya.
That's why without understanding parami, it's impossible to go on or develop understanding of the truth. Not at the goal. Just live, not to eat, not to have fame, not to have pleasant feeling, to understand the truth. If not, this life is life of ignorance added.
A little moment now, and that can accumulate, and then there are conditions for a next life to have again a little moment of understanding.
But when there's wrong understanding of this moment, can it be parami? Trying to do something to understand that which is not there at all. Try to have such and such arise. Is that parami?
No trying, no trying.
Not
That's
parami. That's
yeah.
why parami has to be understood too,
Yeah.
as no one. What are the 10 paramis?
But when we read the text, we may have easily misunderstandings that it is about situations and something lasting, but that's not understanding, not pariyati.
That's why without understanding the truth of reality, there cannot be the understanding of parami. If it's not developing understanding, hearing and considering to understand the truth little by little, what can be parami if not now?
Very good, because I heard you on a tape explaining about monkhood and how to understand monkhood. And that is also this moment now, understanding this moment now.
So a little more understanding of seeing right now.
A little more. Most
Little.
moments, mostly forgetfulness.
But if not, the moment of talking again about seeing as that which sees now, can there be any condition to just attend to the seeing? No.
So it's so useful that we are talking again about seeing and what is seen all the time. It may seem monotonous to some people, but it is so essential since they are seeing again and again.
That's why we can talk about anything to have a little more understanding of the truth, that it's not self, it's not anyone, it's not anything at all.
Yeah.
That's why, as we were saying at the beginning, it's not the term or the detail in the book, but the pariyati is the understanding now of what appears.
Yeah.
The understanding of seeing itself, no matter what it's called now.
And there's not just seeing in life, there is touching too now. So if it's not known, no understanding of the truth of it.
Otherwise, you want to understand seeing and are forgetful of when there's touching, there's also realities.
Yes. And there must
Kama
be
and rupa.
yeah. And there must be the reality which experiences hardness as that reality experiences visible objects. See?
Yeah.
The characteristic of that which arises to experience all day in life. If it's not known, it's I. And in truth, there's no I.
And there can only be attending to one reality at a time. So I'm not sure we have to think in terms of if we're attending, if there is attending to seeing an or visible object, then there's forgetfulness of other realities. I don't think that's the situation, is it?
Can you repeat it? I don't get it quite.
As long as there's attending to any reality, it doesn't matter that there's no attending to all the other realities that are appearing at the present moment.
Yes.
the aim is not to be able to attend to all realities all the time.
Impossible. It's not possible.
But also we need to appreciate that it's just the gradual development of understanding of the true nature of any reality as anicca, dukkha, anatta.
No selection.
Yes, so whatever reality appears, if there's attending to it, it doesn't matter that there's no attending to all those other realities, right?
Yes.
One at a time anyway. Topic you want to bring up today, Betty?
So even simple question like, what is there now? See, is it not easy to answer? What is there now?
Usually thinking about concepts or what is not real.
What is there in between seeing and thinking?
I don't see that.
Yes, but not known. So it's something like nothing appear, right? Now, what is there now? We cannot find out. But at moment of seeing, attending to the moment of seeing is there. But what is there now? See, that which is not known as seeing is that which is in between, the experiencing of seeing another moment. Are you looking for Pawanka? It can be at the moment too, as it is. It can be moha with uddhacca, without vicikicca, but the object does not appear as clear as the other moment. And what asava is there? We learn from the book. There must be the very, very not strong attachment or clinging at all. But it's there. That's why just learn to understand what is there, to condition moment of attending to that, even not with direct awareness and understanding, but it's enough to be reminded that if there's no understanding, no attention to it, how can it be object of understanding right now? So virya is there and patience is there to understand what is there very gradually by conditions.
Metta, were you going to speak?
ท่านอาจารย์ค่ะท่านอาจารย์คะ earlier ท่านอาจารย์ said whatever arises is the object of attachment. So I read from one sutta, the Suttanta Pitaka Sangyutta Nikaya, the Kanta Varavaka, the Tukka Sutta. The Buddha said to the Bhikkhu that the Buddha said to the Bhikkhu about the 4 Ariya Satya, Dukkha, and no, the first is Dukkha Satya, and the second is Dukkha Samudaya, and the third one is Dukkha Nirodha, and the Magga Satya. And the Buddha said that what the 5 upadana is dukkha. So could you please explain more about the 5 upadana is dukkha?
And what's the meaning of dukkha?
As I know, there are 3 kinds of dukkha. One is dukkha is dukkha kaya, and the tomanasa vedana. And the second is viparinama dukkha. Even the present feeling can stay changing. All the times. It can stay. And the third one is the upekha vedana, and all sankhara dhamma is dukkha.
So the last one.
The last one.
Say it again. The last one.
The last one is because the upekha vedana.
You just said all sankhara dhammas.
All sankhara dhamma are dukkha. Yeah. Whatever condition dhamma arise has to fall away. It's dukkha. And also the Buddha said whatever the 5 khanda, when the 5 khanda is the object of clinging, is upadana khanda. And what about the 5 khandas, which is not the object of clinging, even is arise and falls?
When the clinging is completely eradicated.
Thank you, Tanasan. Yes, right. Yeah. Thank you.
And any khanda, maybe you can move one. In any khanda is dukkha because it arises and falls away. So it's still dukkha, but it's only upadana khanda when it's the object of clinging. So the khanda itself is dukkha, but it's also upadana khanda when it is the object of clinging.
Thank you.
And only nibbana that are sukha, because no condition to arise and no falling. So that is a sukha, only sukha, the only Paramatma that is sukha.
Ajahn, just before the last question, we were talking about attending to what appears and talking about what doesn't appear and therefore can't be attended to. Can we say that if there is attending to what appears, for example, I think Nina mentioned clinging rather than seeing a visible object, can it be said that if there's attending to what appears, that gradually things that don't now appear will become apparent as awareness and understanding develops?
What does not appear now?
What doesn't appear?
Or
now?
what is now appearing?
Well, to take the example that Nina spoke of, thinking appears rather than seeing or visible object, because they don't appear as they are. But if the awareness and understanding of thinking is developed.
Okay, now there is seeing. Is there attention to seeing?
Well, if
we don't talk about seeing at all.
it helps to talk about
so that
different
they can be
realities.
object of attention to
Mhm.
understand it.
Mhm.
And then it develops on and on
Mhm.
with right understanding to understand whether it's directly or not directly yet,
Mhm.
little by little, to see the difference.
Right.
Mhm. Or even hardest now, see, it's there,
Yeah.
no attention.
Right.
Before there can be right understanding with awareness, it has to be that.
Yes, it has to be drawn to our
Mhm.
attention. And it's helpful to discuss the different realities
Mhm.
that are arising but not necessarily appearing at the present moment.
In truth, it arises with its citta, manasikara, to the object, depending on what citta is there, with understanding or no understanding at all.
But every individual it has a different accumulated tendency as to what will be attended to and seen and understood
By conditions.
by conditions. So I guess what I'm saying is that we shouldn't feel we ought to be having awareness of, say, seeing a visible object. If all that appears is the thinking, then that's what will be attended to.
Wrong again. To select.
Right.
I picked up on the comment earlier that it's quite wrong to try to understand a particular reality, because that's the same as trying to attend to. It's not the pariyatti understanding.
Suggesting is that having the idea that I ought to be able to attend to seeing an invisible object is just a different shade of trying to select the object.
When attention is there, attending to an object, what should be understood? See, attention is just a reality.
So
Nina,
we are forgetful of manasikara or attention by thinking they should be or trying to have it.
but every moment have manasikara attending to that, the object.
Does it appear? See?
No,
So we talk about it. To know the moment of attending to even to any object with understanding or attachment or selection.
no choice. Cannot.
Or as a reminder that it is real, that this is reality. We talk about it as a reminder, and it's possible. But maybe the next moment there can be lobha or attachments again.
Until all realities are known as they are not self. They are only different realities.
And even to understand that they are all anatta, even though the atta, that me, you, we, something like that, even that all dhamma are also anatta by condition. That's the wrong understanding, also unexpected.
And right understanding is so very truthful that it knows what is not yet understood.
Yeah.
For example, manasikara or attention is not awareness.
And wishing to understand manasikara or wishing to attend to it more is not yoniso manasikara, is not wise attention, because it's the lobha that comes in that would like to attend to it or understand more.
And that is the way Panya develops gradually to understand the truth of what is there a little more.
I want to mention briefly, in case there isn't a chance at the end, for anyone who didn't see my note yesterday, the discussions are all 1:30 to 3 o'clock now. I mention it because many people arrived late. So 1 o'clock, 1:30 to 3 o'clock every day. I put the any changes of schedule on DSG.
So, Sarah, you are so patient to mention all the time the whole schedule.
All the English discussions, live and Zoom, are all 90 minutes from now on. That was the other point I put in the note.
And 90 minutes for all now, rest of the.
All discussions, yes. All Zoom and live discussions from now on, all 90 minutes, yes.
So it's not going to be 2 to 4 anymore.
They all 90 minutes. 1:30 to 3, and the Zooms later will be, not everything will be 90 minutes. If you just look at DSG, then I put any updates there.
No, what I think is that just the January and February which you come here, but later on also will be 132. Oh, okay, thank you.
Say about the time, but it will be 90 minutes, yes. Okay. 1:30 to 3. Arrive on time, still plenty of time to ask all their questions. Carmen, what is your considering now? Because we've been talking about what is the meaning of pariyati and how there has to be the considering and reflecting again and again on different realities to appreciate there really cannot be any selection or choice or trying to be aware. And of course, as you always point out, lobha can arise anytime, any place, now, or wherever we are. but without the reflecting about different dhammas, it's impossible to understand the dhammas as anatta. And if there is the idea of attending to a particular object, or in a particular posture, or in a particular place, then it's the wrong path again. Do you have any comments now?
No, I'm still in a process of considering. And I don't know, I'm learning a lot during that process, because it's already for more than 2 years, I guess, 2.5 years or something. But it's, yeah, it's really, I'm learning a lot from it. But yeah, I don't want to repeat myself, but let's say my view didn't change since we talked about it last week, actually. But still, yeah, maybe, of course it changes all the time, but yeah, I'm still considering about the absolute truth, and let's say the how do you say that? We talk about the absolute truth in the via the relative truth, let's say it like that. And we live all day. Of course, we live in the absolute truth, but we are not aware of it. And we, I don't want to say everything out loud, because it might be really, really wrong thinking. Not wrong thinking, but really, yeah. So I'm because even when we're in these discussion groups, we switch all the time from absolute truth and
Conventional ideas.
yeah, but it's so difficult. Yeah, conventional. Thank you.
Yes.
And
the story of realities, not reality itself, but the story.
Yes, and in a way we need that to survive in daily life, because I make a plan to, you know, and to have food and to earn money, to and I know that's all relative truth. It's not absolute truth. But to make a living, etc. And the same is when we are here, to come here in time. I know it is all absolute truth when we tune in, but there is sort of a relativity in it. I get out of my bed to be in time to be here, and it's all, and there is, of course, there is moments of all doubt, greed, happiness, all the conditions arise and come and go. And in a way, that's the same when I sit on the couch or sit on a cushion or whatever. So I'm looking for how the absolute and the relative and sorry.
I get your point. It's always in daily life, natural development, and we don't deny it. And the Buddha doesn't deny it, because he knows who is Sariputta, who is Moggallana. So
yes,
it's a matter of denying it.
Yes, and so that for me still is the same when I come to the discussion group and when I sit on a cushion. And yeah.
Because you have accumulations to do
Yes.
that. So it's natural for you.
Yes, it is, yeah. And it's not that I sit down because I want to gain something. No, I just sit down. And it's not that I'm sometimes actually when I come here, I come here to get more, and to be honest, to get more understanding, maybe even more than when I sit on a cushion, you know. So
I think we've said before, Carmen, that it's not the situation that
yeah,
we're talking about, it's the understanding
Mhm.
of what is the path taught by the Buddha. That's the only thing that can be discussed, that's relevant. So yes, it's not a question of being here or there, or, as we've said before, one can attend a discussion with the wrong idea of what the development of understanding involves. So there's no reason why one can't sit in a chair or on a cushion, but it doesn't matter what the situation is. There are the development of the path is the same regardless, because the Buddha didn't specify that there should be one situation or another. So what he talked about was what are the absolute realities and what is understanding of those absolute realities. That's all.
yeah, but maybe then I misunderstood Sarah's question. That where I'm at in the point of letting go of my meditation practice, and I answered in that, with that in my mind, that was Sarah's point. And
I think that as long as you appreciate that it's whatever is appearing now that is to be understood, that is the main
yes,
thing. It doesn't matter if, from speaking personally, because all of us have accumulated wrong view. That goes without saying. So there will be conditions for wrong view to arise from time to time, and it may at times condition wrong practice. But that is by the by. The development of that is by the way.
Oh,
right. The development of understanding is not about avoiding having any moments of wrong view or moments of wrong practice. That would be impossible. It is beyond control how one lives one's life and what thoughts come up or ideas or beliefs are strongly held to. What is important is the appreciation when one hears the Dhamma, the explanation of the Buddha's teaching, that is appreciated. Because the development of understanding has the effect of, described in the teachings, as straightening one's view. So it's not a matter of pick the wrong understanding bit by bit. It's just a matter of developing awareness and understanding naturally by conditions. And it will have the effect in the longer term of lessening the amount of wrong view that arises or conditions wrong practice.
As we said earlier, that wrong understanding, maybe trying to understand now, trying to pay attention to particular objects, selecting an object one would like to understand, focusing on an object. So the wrong understanding has to be known when it appears, no matter now or anytime.
yeah, anytime. But because when I'm listening, of course, sometimes I look outside and I see a bird and my mind goes away, but then I bring my attention back to the conversation. And in that same way, you can sit on your cushion and then you go back to your breath, but not with pushing or whatever. Do you understand?
But is it the idea that I bring my attention back to?
Sometimes, and sometimes it just happened.
Yes. So actually, no I that can bring the attention back. And
Yeah,
when
yeah.
like the attention to be on the breath or the seeing or particular object, what kind of chitta is it that would like to attend to a particular object?
Yeah, probably greed. There is wanting involved, wanting to hear the words of Ajahn, wanting to, yeah, and I think in the meditations, just no, not so much wanting. If I go back to the breath, it's just what I should do. I don't know.
What I should do.
Yes, yeah, and there's of course on a.
So it's the
There is
idea
wanting deeper.
I
Yeah,
and
yeah,
what I should
yeah.
do.
Yes,
So,
yes, true.
and I should do is not the understanding of just what appears now, no matter
Yes.
looking out of the window or attending to the discussion. No,
Yeah.
I should do anything.
Yes, yes, but yes, I still have those moments when there is an I appearing often.
And the comment about the ordinary conventional life just carries on as normal. But the more understanding there is, the more appreciation there is that no matter whether we're laying the table for lunch or pouring the tea, actually there are just different dhammas arising and falling away, whatever language we use to convey the meaning.
I think one point to bear in mind is that if something is done just for the purpose of having understanding, I'll give an example. When on one of our trips to India, I think it was just Sarah and I, we stayed in a temple where they believed in beating the drum and reciting certain things. Or some people have in mind reciting mantras, for example. It's not something one would normally do unless it's done for a purpose connected to having understanding. So that falls under the name of under the general heading of a practice.
Mm-hmm.
And we can say that anything that's done just for that reason or purpose as a practice.
And
not,
coming to this class,
yes,
it's not what normal people do.
right.
So is that a practice then?
No. Well, it could be. I mean, as I say, you come to the class just for the purpose of, or coming to the class, I would say is the same as reading a book about the Dhamma. It's done because of an interest in the subject matter. It's not something done in order to give rise to understanding at the time.
But let's say, I'm thinking out loud now, but if I sit down on a cushion because I'm interested in the mind, and by that in the Buddha's teaching, why isn't that practice? Is that practice, and is attending the class not practice?
Well, the Buddha didn't specify just to be interested in the mind.
No, but yeah, in realities, and let's say it. Okay, I sit down on the cushion to because of my interest in the realities.
So what's the connection between your interest in realities and sitting on the cushion?
Yeah. Of course, I know you can realize the moment everywhere. I know that I know, and I also can realize it not being in this class. Yeah. For instance, it doesn't matter where I am. You know, when the accumulation is there, I will understand.
Yes, well, I come back to my question. What's the connection between your interest in understanding realities and sitting on a cushion?
Let's say it, when you sit on a cushion, you see realities when you're sitting on a cushion, and when you do the dishes, you see realities of doing the dishes. I don't know. You don't have to sit on the cushion. I understand that, and I agree totally with that. Yeah.
Well, it's not just that you don't have to sit on the cushion. I know you do appreciate that, but there's a lurking idea that it's better to be sitting on a cushion than just acting normally.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm not sitting so
Otherwise,
much on the
you
cushion, to be
wouldn't,
honest.
sit on a cushion in a you know, a cross-legged or basically a position that is, well, I mean, some people might because they're brought up that way, but when it's the idea of a practice, the cushion is going to be in a quiet place for a start. The TV will be off, I presume, and
It doesn't have to, actually.
Be arranged. Everything will be arranged so that okay, now I can have some quiet.
No,
so
because I was in Bodh Gaya actually, and I was in the temple, and next to me was a jukebox playing music, and we were doing a retreat there. So it doesn't have to be quiet at all. It is, yeah. But I understand your point, and I thank you. I take it in my considering process.
Thana Chan, would you like to say anything? Comment point, the question which she asking.
I just say to Carmen that you really convinced me. I think I'll join you next retreat.
With the jukebox? You mean?
your microphone wasn't working. So
I see. Who's the Buddha?
I cannot answer that question.
So you don't know him?
No. I've heard from him. I've read about him. We talk about him and his way of looking at realities, and he's teaching.
Why we call him Buddha?
Enlightened one. The one who sees.
What is the meaning of the word Buddha?
Enlightened?
Yes. So no one can compare to his wisdom to be the Samma Sambuddha. So we listen to each word to consider whether it's true or not, and how deep the truth is, because it took quite a long time for him to become a Buddha, the Samma Sambuddha. So the truth of what he has enlightened is not shallow, it's not easy, but it's there, that no one can know if he didn't teach about it, about the truth of it. That's why, can there be just the understanding of what he said just in a word, only word? For example, understanding. What is that? See, it doesn't mean that I understand the meaning of understanding, but understanding what? It's not like the others who understand this and that, but what is his understanding that he taught, that if he didn't teach it, no one cannot have such understanding at all. So he taught about what is there now or not. He didn't talk about the past and the future to be known because they're gone. But now what is there? Who knows? The absolute truth. And the path leading to realize the truth, the very subtle truth of what is there now, appearing, not as it is. See, it appears to everyone, but not as it is at all. That's why what is as it is. For example, there is seeing right now. Everyone knows there is seeing. But what is seeing? What is the truth of it? Usually there is the idea, I see. But what did Buddha say? No one, no I, no thing. But seeing is real at the moment when it's there. By conditions. Now, there is hearing and thinking as well, and also seeing by conditions. No one can make it arise at all, but it's there already by conditions. So what is the understanding of seeing which is there? No one can make it arise. There must be conditions for seeing to arise. Is this true that seeing cannot be made up by anybody at all, but by conditions? So now thinking, can anyone condition make it arise? Impossible. Or are there by conditions to be different ones? That's why life goes on, no matter the thing about getting up in the morning, doing this and that, it's go on by conditions. But what about the truth of it, the absolute truth, from just one word of the Buddha, Dhamma, a reality, no one and no thing at all, and consider it to understand what are there in life from moment to moment. Otherwise, it cannot be known as it is, but it's taken from the whole world with many things, many people around, but it does not appear as it is. Consider each word of truth about what is there now. What is seeing? Can anyone make it arise? Or is there already to see, just arise to see? It cannot think, it cannot like. That's why Buddha pointed out the truth of each reality in each moment by conditions. And what conditions what? For example, now, who understand the truth of seeing? Even seeing is there now. No idea about it, no attention to it at all, no thought about it, but it's there in life. If it's not known, how can there be the understanding of life? In order to understand life, it has to be the understanding what is there from moment to moment, from birth up to moment of death. What are there? And who knows how long will we live? It can be just only this moment with ignorance, attachment, no understanding of the truth, or with some understanding of that which can be realized as it is, as no one and no thing at all. Consider each word of the truth. Seeing is only seeing. It's there by condition and it's gone. And now the truth is there. Can there be a little more understanding to let go the idea of I see or something is seen? Because in truth, it's not something is seen and it's not I who see. Is it true? Just understanding the truth, to have confidence of the truth, to let go ignorance and attachment to life as something, I and things. But in truth, is seeing something or I, or it's just a reality? And Buddha taught about the conditions for whatever arises, not just by one condition only, many conditions. For example, just a moment of seeing without the eye base, the eye sense, and without that which can impinge on it, not on the other reality. It conditioned moment of seeing, but it's not just that which is the eye sense, eye base, or the object which impinge on it. There are other conditions even for seeing to arise, just arise and falls away, because it's conditioned to arise and then it has to fall away instantly. No one can call it back. No one can have it arise again. Only once in samsara. So we live in the dream world about things, not understanding the truth, like we watching a movie. See, people and things are there, but in truth, only that which is seen, just one frame of picture, only that, on and on and on. So very rapidly. That's why what conditions seeing to see unpleasant object or pleasant object? Because seeing sees what? Pleasant object or unpleasant object, right? Hearing here, pleasant object or unpleasant object. By what? Why not always pleasant? Why not always unpleasant? All by conditions. And each one born and die. For sure. So short. So can anyone own anything now? Can anyone take what we take for mine together with you at all? Impossible. So what is there as the body? And what is that? That which the reality which is taken for I. It's only seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, different thought, different levels of understanding, different interests by conditions. That's why I learn to understand the truth of no one, no thing, only different realities. But in truth, they can be categorized into two categories. One arises just to experience, and the other is conditioned to arise, but it cannot experience anything at all. So the body, can it experience anything? Hardness all over the body. So before it can be taken from just an eye or one strand of hair, say many, many moments of experiencing, arising and falling away unknowingly all the time. Is this true? Just develop the truthfulness to the truth in order to understand the truth, absolute truth. It can be proven, it can be understood anytime by more understanding, little by little, to understand each word of the Buddha, because he taught about the absolute truth, the Four Noble Truths, the dukkha. Is it true? Whatever arises falls away, no matter what, even right understanding or ignorance, or what is there, hardness or softness, nothing lasts at all. That's the way the world is. So what is the meaning of just the word, the world? It's that which arises and falls away. If nothing arises at all, can there be anything now? So how many things arising, falling away unknowingly all the time? It can be directly experienced. When there's a little more understanding, it's so true. So understand what is the absolute truth. Not just what we think about Nibbana or what and what, but what is it? It's there. It has its own characteristic to be known, not by oneself, but by hearing the truth about it. Consider it. Have confidence of the truth. That is satya. Be truthful to the truth. Satya Barami. Otherwise, no time to experience the truth, because not even the beginning of the truth to be known, as it's there temporarily. Seeing cannot be there at moment of hearing, but now it seems like they're hearing and thinking and seeing, but they are different moments, unknown all the time. That's why how rapidity it is, changing from moment to moment. But each moment is so true, but it's not known at all in a day. How many moments of seeing, how many things or what we take for things be seen, how many kinds of feeling, how many kinds of attachment, different degree, very slight or very strong. Even right now, who hears? 3 moments after hearing, it's there, asava. Otherwise, there cannot be the idea of I hear. That's why learning to understand the truth from the teachings of the Buddha. He taught everything to be realized in 45 years, beginning from hearing about the truth of what he said, because it's there now. to know whether it's true as he taught or it's not at all. That's why the one who see the Dhamma, the one who see the Buddha, understand what it's meant by Buddha. Without understand the words of truth, can there be the understanding of, there must be the understanding, great wisdom, which can realize the truth. How come? Little by little. And that is parami. Without patience and viriya and satya and adidana, it cannot be known at all. That's why now there is viriya, careful listening to be truthful, what is real. Seeing cannot be hearing, cannot be thinking. Attachment cannot be aversion. All are there in life alternately, only once in samsara. But it's so rapidly, so what is known is only the nimitta, the sign of each reality. For example, right now, ignorance about that which arises through see and falls away, because it is only one moment of seeing. See, Buddha taught about the process of the moment when it experiences an object through one doorway. So many cetasika arises, experience the object of the doorway, but they perform each different function. For example, before seeing, the citta cannot see. It doesn't perform the function of seeing, just adverting to the object which impinges on that dvara or doorway. And since it's there, adverting to that object, the next moment seeing is there, arising and experience that which is there, because that which is seen lasts longer than a moment of citta. That's why only in a process of experiencing just one rupa, that kalapa, so very little, 8 rupas in a kalapa, see, and that which is seen, seeing is the only reality which sees. Who knows? The citta before seeing cannot see, and the citta after seeing cannot see. That's why each citta has its own function. And who told us about this? The enlightenment, who has enlightened the truth.
In emphasizing the understanding of the words spoken by the Buddha. And this is the key thing to keep in mind, because the Buddha himself emphasized the importance of attending Dhamma talks, of asking questions among one and one's Dhamma friends, of listening attentively, he said, with eager ears when there's the opportunity to hear a description of Buddha's teaching, and considering what has been heard. And all these things the Buddha himself said were essential in order for the development of the path. So that that's the difference between being interested in hearing more about the Dhamma and wanting to spend time on one's own in one's own practice. Because sitting on one's own and following a practice is not among those conditions that the Buddha mentioned as being necessary. So I'm not
But
saying
anyway, but necessary, they are conditioned anyway.
I'm sorry.
So they are conditioned anyway, so they are necessary too, but we cannot create them. They are as they are.
Yes. Everything.
So
Everything
yes.
is, you can't create. Everything is conditioned. That's very important to realize. So
And
no
it is
saying come and don't sit on a cushion or anything like that. I'm just going back to our earlier discussion of what's the difference between A and B. Well, one is what the Buddha specifically mentioned as being useful and beneficial and a condition for development of understanding. So that's what encourages us to continue meeting and discussing Dhamma.
I'm grateful for that.
Is there comment?
No,
See, and then it's the way to realize the truth, not just say, it's not me. Precise understanding of whatever now appears. Different stages of the development of understanding from hearing again and again. That's why it takes parami, kanti parami, patience to know that it's so true. If it's not the understanding of what is there, what is it? What is it? When it's not the understanding of the truth of what is there. See, when it's not understanding, it is ignorance and attachment to the idea of, even we don't say out, I, it's there. Because it's the reality which experiences an object and no one there. So at the very moment of seeing, how can it not be I with ignorance and attachment to that? That's why there is wrong understanding. Unreality, no one, but it's wrong. And it arises with ignorance, not understanding the truth. What is there seen? Not is that which sees. And at that moment, is there anything or anyone? A moment of seeing is there, and then gone. The cat sees, the snake sees, so seeing is seeing. There is thinking, cat thinks after seeing, so there is thinking after seeing about that which is seen. They are all dhammas by conditions. So listen to the words of the Buddha, the enlightened one, and consider carefully. Each word is so true because it's what he has enlightened. And he showed the way leading to understanding the truth, stage by stage. That's why there must be pariyatti, understanding what he said about now, the absolute truth, so true, because seeing is there now, hearing is there now, thinking is there now. And without understanding realities as no one and no thing, is it right or wrong? And how come to have such wrong understanding? Not understanding the truth of what is there. So how can it let go the idea which sees at that moment as no one but I at moment of seeing? And not just seeing. What are there in life? I. Because there must be the moment of experiencing from moment to moment. There cannot be any moment without experiencing an object in life. But it's not known at all. How many different realities in a moment? What are there is not just a single one. For example, the citta, the chief of experiencing, the seeing, just sees. But there are conditions arising with it, condition it. One another or each other. Many different conditions for each reality in life that can be known. Otherwise, there cannot be the understanding of the truth that actually what is there gone, never to arise again. So this life is coming. What about before being coming? And after death, no coming at all. But there must be conditions for birth and on, seeing, hearing, thinking, and then die. So what is true in life? Sunyata, not permanent. uncontrollable, whatever is now conditioned, no matter you'd like it or not, or anyone like it or not, it doesn't matter. Because liking, is it real? Attachment, is it real? So attachment is a reality, not I. So who knows now moments of ignorance of seeing? They're seeing, no understanding. So ignorance is there. And the idea of self is there. Bhava, clinging to being, see? And I, Titthasava, Attanutiti or Sakayatiti, and Avijjasava, and Kamasava, when the object is Kama through sense door. No one can stop the conditions for attachment to cling to that object to arise. It's arisen already unknowingly. Even just moving, stretching out, Lopa is there. And Rupa cannot know anything at all. But the Chitta and Cetasikas, the mental factors arising together, condition, whatever is there, speaking, thinking, liking, and so on. They are all conditioned realities. That's why we talk about Dhamma, to understand the meaning of Dhamma. Dhamma is Dhamma. But if you think that Dhamma is this and that, what is the meaning of Dhamma? So what is meant by Bhavana in Pali? The development of insight or understanding. Without intellect understanding firmly, there cannot be conditions to be patient, to listen again and again, to have firm confidence of the truth as parami too, not to go wrong. Because when it's not the understanding of what is there now, it cannot be understanding of anything. Because even it's there now appearing, there's no understanding of it. So what else can be the object of understanding when there is seeing right now? And what is there? Is there attachment to? So in life, some reality appears, like at moment of liking something very much. You know, everyone knows that it's attachment. Or when it's aversion, who knows? Its characteristics show up to be known. But what about moment when it's so very, very slight attachment? All there. Is that true? Just beginning to learn to understand who's the Buddha, the enlightenment. Otherwise, who's the Buddha? Why do you pay respect? To what? To ignorance? Or to understanding? Great wisdom? Great compassion? Otherwise, it's not the word of the Buddha. It's one's own thought about such and such as this moment. No idea at all. What is it? But when hearing about Dhamma, it has its characteristic to be such Dhamma. Seeing cannot hear, it cannot think. It's just a moment arising and falling away. The first Ariya Satya, all conditioned Dhammas arising and falling away. But as it does not appear, no one can see the danger of that, which just arises and falls away, breaking world each moment. Is it true? Learn to understand the truth that it can be realized, but not by our own thought, our idea or practice, What is practice? What is the word of Buddha about that? He used the term bhavana, jira kala bhavana. And what is meant by jira? See?
It's a very, very long time, and we can continue tomorrow. Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you, everyone. So
Thank you so
1:30
much.
tomorrow. See you all tomorrow.
Yeah.